A Sony Santa Monica dev is pissed that the Order 1886 has received such low review scores, and they've made a couple disturbing statements regarding what they feel should be the punishment for these people who gave this game a low score. So, the Order 1886, it was developed by Ready at Dawn and Sony Santa Monica. So here were the tweets that were sent out. By the way, these tweets have now since been deleted. So they definitely were in the heat of the moment. But here's what he said. He said, "The games press is so hateful of games anymore. I just don't think we should buy ads or send them games." The second tweet read, "The Order 1886 isn't the best game I've played, but it's well made. It is not a 6 out of 10. And I'm curious why we even bother sending out review copies." So twice he mentioned wanting to hold reviews for sites who criticize the game. And when you read that, I mean, it makes it kind of sound like they only want to send out review copies or purchase ads from sites who are going to return a favorable review. And you got to really worry about that because you may not realize it, but this goes on a lot more than what you would imagine. I'm not saying from Sony necessarily, but there are a lot of companies out there who will contact you, who will want you to review something or talk about something, but you only get it if you can guarantee that it's going to be something that they'll like and sign off on and that they can place in an advertisement. So you really got to be careful whenever you're talking about trying to buy off critics. I mean, Sony's already been in trouble in the past for fake reviews. In one of the most famous cases, basically anywhere, Sony was caught using several quotes from a reviewer called David Manning several years ago. Now, David Manning, they said, was affiliated with a newspaper from Connecticut called the Richfield Press. The problem was this newspaper in Connecticut didn't even know that Sony was using their name in their advertisements. But the other problem was this David Manning, who was giving all these quotes saying, hey, you got to go see this blockbuster or whatever else, or Sony hit it out of the park again. David Manning, he didn't even exist. He was a made-up character that Sony used and then claimed that he worked for some newspaper. So they were putting out these ads. People started looking into it. They said, who's this person that Sony keeps on quoting? They realized he didn't exist. He didn't work for this newspaper. Sony ended up having to pay out over $1 million after being caught. So, I mean, I can understand being frustrated after working on something so long and then seeing the reception of your work being out there, and I can understand letting that get under your skin. But let's be clear about one thing. It is the job of a critic to criticize. It's their job as a reviewer to give you a fair assessment, tell you what they liked, tell you what they didn't like. If you want to read or hear only positive things, to reinforce your pre-existing beliefs, you think something's good, so you only want to read or hear good things about it, go read press releases. Maybe that's what you need to read instead of actually reading reviews. But when you have a majority of people who rated this game as average, and many of them list the same flaws and problems, you don't have a conspiracy. You don't have the mainstream media being paid off. You don't have unnecessary hate coming out towards this game simply because it's a Sony exclusive or because it was Ready at Dawn's first real console game. People rated it average because it is average. So post your thoughts below. Do you think this is dangerous territory when reviewers are threatened by holding review copies of games because they didn't review a certain game favorably? That does it for me, The Red Dragon. If you want to read more about it, links down in the description box. Stay tuned right here to this channel and the VGN. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
Are you listening? Damn.